everyone. So yeah, so we go to begin the speeches, and I want to know what do you think about this picture. So we can say jealousy, B exasperation, C adoration. So what do you think?
C.
C. And for the girl, because you are a man, that was easy. And for you, Jisoo? C too. I think you're going to be surprised. So it's a PDF, so I have to go back. After that, so that's the. I don't have some sounds. So how you see there was an advertising, so we go to talk about advertising. Just for information, this video was made for Dove like the brand, from Unilever. It's a video who have I think more than 3 million views in less of 3 months, so that's really good. And just for example, so it is an advertising, we criticize advertising, but the interesting part is then they win more than $15 billion at least in just public release. So that's a lot. That's really a lot. So how we say we're going to speak about advertising. The roadmap, it will be some number first, so we're going to talk about some number and what's going on in advertising, and after the negative point of advertising and some positive point of advertising. So, so first, advertising. Advertising, it's I think the last 100 years evolved a lot because for two big reasons. The first one is because now we use also some differently technique like sociology and medical stuff to just put advertising a little more interesting for people. And the second part is also because we have a lot more technology, is the technology improvement. So now, before, 100 years ago, it was we have advertising only on the newspaper and on the wall, and right now it's a little omnipresent. We can saw advertising on your phone, on internet, on TV, on radio. So it can be sometimes a little more oppressive, that can be, but so we go to see why. So the first negative point, I think, what we can tell, it's, and what we heard a lot, it's advertising pressure to consume. So that means we try to so yeah, what we say it's also we try to tricking a global public. That's what we heard a lot. That's one of the more criticized. So that advertising push you to consume some goods and service, but you don't need it. You don't need, and so they begin to cheat a little, to cheat the public, and with some persuasive advertising. So what we do, it's like we put some positive image, and that's go to create a need, and so that's why you go to consume or to buy something. Just for that's in reality not true, is not so simple, but I will talk that later. So that was the first one. The second one, it's I think very interesting. It's also because advertising can be degrading and shocking, like violence. I think no one wants to see this kind of image. That's too much. Also, it's maybe for a good cause, but we don't want to. And also degrading, like we put always some minority or some woman on a bad way, and that's also something we have to be very careful about. And now a lot of brands do that. We have some big problem because now the consumer are really looking and are really looking for that, and we have a lot of association who look about advertising and go to allowed or not the advertising. And this kind of things is just to make the buzz, and they know they can do that because all the target of the advertisement is for men. So that's why they do that. But it's clearly an offense for women. So the second one, it's like the third one, the third negative point. I think it's like advertising. Advertiser can be liar, can be lying a lot, and that's true. We have to be very careful about what say the brand, and we have to now take a look about what they do and not what they say. For example, so then that's greenwashing. Greenwashing, it's mean then you try to do some advertising with some green points, some green arguments. So you try to say, okay, my car is very good because he's very green and helps out for the environment and this kind of bullshit. But in reality, it's not the case, and we have exactly with this example with Volkswagen, because I don't know if you heard, but 2 months or 3 months ago was a big debate on Volkswagen because he cheated all the car was a software in all the car which permit to cheat all the performance of the car, so they can know when the car was trying to be tested or not. So that's what happened. So that was one of the big deal, I think. So we take a look about 3 big negative points about advertising. So consummation, degrading, change the reality. Sometimes the advertiser can be liar, and what we say in the introduction, it can be also aggressive and omnipresent. But do you know also some good aspect about advertising? Do you have any idea some good aspect? Do you? Okay, I'm going to tell you some good aspect for me. So first, one of the big good aspect, I think, it's advertising can be creative, artistic. Advertising use a lot of arts, and they try to remove on some artistic painter photography. So it's like, for me, I consider advertising like a new art. It's not the case in reality, but for me it is, because some pictures are really nice, some advertising. So that's an advertising for black label. It's a whiskey label. I really like this one. After also, advertising can be entertainment, can be funny, so it's also something try to make the consumer laughing. So I think you get it both of advertising. So that's an advertising for a sucum, and that's an advertising for condom. So you get it very easily. It's very simple, but that's the idea, you know. And to have that, I think you have to be very creative, and that's one of the things why I like advertising. So I'm going to show you also another. Okay, another one.
Tonight,
I really like
as
it.
we stand on the edge of possibility, we choose the path less trodden. We choose to embrace the unknown with wide-eyed wonder. Tonight we choose adventure. Who can say what the journey might throw at us? But we've conquered puffy things, bony things, not enough to see things. With your back by our side, we will scoop, splash, freeze our way to new frontiers. That is our destiny. And tonight, that will be our dinner. Cooks, venture forth with new Lurpak Cook's range.
So why I like this advertising is just because we talk about border, and we do an all big story, something, a metaphor with the moon and with the adventure, and also with the cook and the cooking. And I really like it's very good make it, and it's really creativity. I think it's something really cool. But so we talk about artistic creativity. That's one point, one big deal of it about advertising. But that's not the only one. The only good point also about advertising is because you can have some free information and service. Sometimes we forget, but it's because we have advertising, we can have Facebook for free, YouTube for free, all the device of application you have on your phone, it's free because about advertising. And also, I think one of the more important points, or at least for me, is also we can have some free information, free good information. So that means all the newspaper have a website, and you can have some news, and that's a very good thing to have that for free, because if you have to pay for information, it will be, I think, a disaster, because that means not everyone can have information, and I think that's one of the priority in the world, to have access to the information. And that's one of the what do advertising, because, and one of the big deal. Also, the last thing I want to show is about the social aspect about advertising. Because okay, sometimes we sell. So sometimes we have to sell some product or some service, but sometimes also for a big cause. That means sometimes also we communicate on something bigger than us, on the world, and on something it's necessary to fight for. So normally social aspects try to denounce, change behavior, protect. So that can be an association or sometimes government with some for security or for road security or this kind of thing. Also, and that will be the last advertising I go to show you today. It's also necessary to fight for other brands, because I was talking to you some greenwashing, but sometimes it's good to have some association who do that. So yeah, that was an advertising about Greenpeace. Greenpeace make a lot of this kind of advertising. They did exactly the same with Dove, for Dove, because Dove make also other campaign like that, and they give a response very hard. In this case, after that, so I think it was 24 hours after the publishing of this advertising from Greenpeace, Kit Kat, so the brand Kit Kat make a promise to say right now they're going to only do some some real good all palm. So that works, and that's a thing. It's one of the biggest things. So how we we take a look. So about the project. So we take a look about the negative point about advertising. So I tell you again. So was about. So the negative point, yeah, it was omnipressive, oppressive. Sometimes that they can lie also a lot. So we have to be careful with that. And some positive point too. It's like, yeah, free information and service, aesthetic, entertainment, and funny, and for the good cause, and they know something. So now my big question is: if you could already take advertising, will be willing to pay the price? Do you think you can really put out advertising or not? That's my question. And thank you for your attention. And if you have any question, I'm here.